today, I want to make sure you get the majority of the period to do what you need to do to finish that lab, okay? So when I say finish that lab, I know some of you guys on Friday were having a little bit of card issues, but, and I know like half of you got all your data. So here's what's going to go on. Oh my gosh. So you, in your lab, may need to finish your actual like data collection, which is fine. I'm going to ask that you and your partner go back to whatever location you were in on Friday. If you are done with the data, right now, the sheet that's in front of you, like literally on your computer. No, like on your computer, you're typing in the open question. If you click on the title, so right now, guys, do me a favor. The document that you're open to, click the title. And this slideshow should come up. The reason I want to show you that is because after you're done collecting the data, you have to do the calculations. So this next slide shows you how to do it, okay? I purposely didn't put in direction, I didn't write in directions because it was so color coordinated, and I knew that some of you guys by that point, if I put another list of instructions, probably would have tapped out. So, you, and I'm not trying to be dumb about this, but on Friday, this thing that says distance, you use what to measure that? Not a ruler, but a meter stick. This, in seconds, help me out. Was that a very big or very small number? Small. It was pretty small. So your speed, guys, I get that your speed might not be a tremendously big number, and that is okay. But your speed should be whatever distance it went divided by how long it took. That's how you're going to figure out your speed. Your mass, we did on Friday as a class. You guys, I think your mass was a little bit smaller, wasn't it? Wasn't your mass like 12 point something?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. So whether you use 13.5 or 12.5, it doesn't matter, because when you divide it by 1,000, you still end up with a number that's really, really what? Big or small? Small. So for your data table number 1, you're going to finish that by calculating the momentum. All you do for the momentum is multiply whatever you had by your mass by your speed. So this is why if you look at speed here and you look at velocity here, they get to be used interchangeably because your car should have gone nice and what? Straight. If you need help with the second data table, I've given it to you here, okay? I've told you how you can do your acceleration and then how you can do your force. So if I were you, I would leave this tab up. I have no problem coming around and helping you guys. However, I do want to make it kind of easier for you and give you kind of a leg up. So for this question, how many of you on Friday had issue with your big rubber band? Okay, some of you had issue, and this is more making fun of myself, like I have adult-sized hands. Some of you have like really small little fingers and we're trying to hold back a huge rubber band. So I'm just telling you right now, you have time. If you messed up on your large rubber band, try to get it to go as straight as possible. Try to get that rubber band to be pulled straight back to get a long distance. But when you talk about why this rubber band wasn't all the same, some of you got a thicker rubber band than other people. I just had you measure how much it stretched. Does the thickness of a rubber band matter though? No. Oh yeah, definitely does.
Oh, yeah,
That's why this picture, even though it's not playing, because honestly it's too distracting when it plays because it just keeps on blowing up in their faces, they use skinny rubber bands. So that picture on the left, the force of breaking that watermelon comes not in the fact that they used a rubber band that was thick. They used what? Skinny rubber bands, a whole lot of them, over and over again. So the question is, what are the two forces that are involved in the stretching of a rubber band? So when you pull it out, right, that is the tension force. When it snaps back, that's the elastic force. How many of you by show of hand know what dry rot is? Can someone, one of the three of you explain it?
When something stays wet, like moist.
Ew.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you think about rubber, it's supposed to be able to do what really well? Bend. When you dry rot it, it basically gets too old and loses its bendiness, and it will crack. So if you've ever used a rubber band that cracked, not snapped, but just cracked, that's because it's dry rotted. And I know this seems dumb. I had to give you guys new rubber bands. Because some of the old ones, that's the same reason why if you ever get an eraser that doesn't erase, it's because it's dry rotted. So for this, when you stretch it out, that's which of those two forces? Elastic or tension? Tension. When it comes back in, that's the elastic force. So to answer this, you can say when a rubber band is stretched out, that is the tension force. And when it comes back in, that is the elastic force. So when it stretches out, that is the tension force. When it snaps back in, that's the elastic force. So here's the deal. Your lab should be able to get done today during class. That's like my main objective. There's a web quest that I put in your folder that is due on Wednesday. And I'll ruin the surprise for you right now. Tomorrow, just listen. Tomorrow, we are doing Study Island benchmark. Here's the thing. I will take all the groans about how much you hate because it's what you did in elementary school. Because here's your alternative. I'm just being honest. Here's what we used to do. We used to give you guys, I used to give all of my 8th graders what they give you guys in high school, which is called the CDTs.
Oh.
I'm just being honest. The CDTs, kids were like almost in tears because every time you got a question wrong, it would give you another 3 in return. So your study island at least knocks you out at question 30-something. So no matter what level you get, you only get like 30 some odd questions. When you took the CDTs for 8th grade science, some kids were getting tapped out at almost 80 or 90 questions, and they were like essay questions. It used to take like 4 days. So understand, tomorrow, I'm going to set you guys up with a study island. When you guys are done, honestly, it should take you probably most of the period on Tuesday. If you go, like I've allotted Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you look at this web quest, you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of questions. Don't freak out. You're probably going to have class time on Tuesday and or Wednesday. What's up?
There's still games on Study Island.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know as 8th graders if you still have access to them. That's what I'm looking at.
That ruins it.
Here's the thing. Do me a favor. If you can go into, ready? So do me a favor, guys. Go into your lab for Newton's car, okay? So right now, it does say it's due today, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you're pulling it up, I will tell you, the 7 questions, they're not difficult, weird calculation kind of questions. They're very straightforward questions. One of the questions asks you what's the action in the lab. The other one asks you what the reaction, so like literally all you have to do is make sure you put that kind of stuff in a sentence. Here's the part that I get most, most problematic. If you were not here yesterday, or on Friday, or I went too fast, make sure you get this stuff from somebody. I'll probably actually just leave this up on the board. Then, if you scroll down to your data table, in your data table, you need to make sure you have everything filled out before you go on to data table number 2. And then do me a favor right now, scroll down to where it says graph, and click this thing that says Google Sheet, okay? When you open it up, it's gonna force you to do what? Make copy. I'm not trying to be condescending about anything. You literally just gotta put in the numbers and it makes a graph for you, okay? It is the easiest 5 points out of this whole lab. If you look, all the numbers are put in there for you. Here's what I'm gonna remind you of. Google Sheets, though, is really good at either reading numbers or letters. Can it read both? No. So when you put in your size of your rubber bands, you're just gonna put in words or numbers. Which one? Numbers. So I don't care, like right here, I don't care that it's 12 centimeters. I care that you just put 12. When you are all done, right now, if you can see how this is like a double blue with a box, some of you guys are leaving that cell selected. Before you go, once you have your nice pretty graph, you need to click a blank cell. Click a cell that has nothing in it. And then click your graph once, and then you do your copy and paste. If you get an error that says it doesn't copy or it just doesn't copy for you, it is because you are highlighting the wrong thing. If this thing reads no data, it's because you're killing Google Sheets and you're making it try to read a number and a letter at the same time, okay? Questions about that? Okay, do me a favor. Look at I'll leave this tab open. Look at the questions. You have to make sure you answer each one in a complete sentence or statement, whatever. So, you're going to work on finishing these 3 parts of the lab. When you are done and you start working on your WebQuest is an independent endeavor, and you do need headphones. If you borrow a set of my headphones, please make sure you put them on my desk when you are done. Don't put them back in there, okay? Miss Brown, do you have any questions about what we're doing?
So in that one sheet, where do we get that? Is it where it says size of rubber band? Is it our average totals is what we're putting in the graph?
So the size of the rubber band is just whatever they measured when they stretched it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can get that from table number 2. So
Okay.
literally just, boop. And it's not an average because for today, as far as your homework goes, if you need to, I'm just being honest, I need your lab. Don't freak out if you don't get a chance to get it done today, but tomorrow I'm going to be grading them, okay? So, you need to check your grade. All of my grades are up to date. Make sure you turn in anything that is overdue or whatever. We're running out of time in the semester. You guys are doing much better in the other class, but make sure you bring in an empty 2-liter bottle. So for this, how did this lab prove the conservation of momentum? So if you talk about the collision, your rubber band collided with your what? Car, right? So if you think about the way it was supposed to work, the further back you pull the rubber band, what should have happened? The further the car should have went, right? So based on this, you can say it proves it. No. Because the further you pull the rubber band, the further the car should have traveled.